Hello my esteemed colleagues and admired amigos. I am Buckwsr, helping you put the do into do-it-yourself. And our do-it-yourself project today features this here early 90s model Craftsman GT6000 garden tractor. Needs a ground drive belt, Transaxle Belt. And today we're going to walk through the steps necessary for changing out that belt. So let's get started. Well, step number one is to remove the cutting deck. That step has already been accomplished for us. I did that before turning on the video camera. So that step's already been accomplished. There's other videos out there on how to do it if you're not sure how to do that. But we're going to focus today on the ground drive belt. Step number two is going to be to safely get the tractor off the ground a little bit because you're going to be working under it. Even if you were to put the front end up on ramps, I'm going to try to get it up higher than that for you so that I can more easily show you the process in changing this belt. But right now you're just a little too close to the ground to have a comfortable work environment. Okay, so I was only able to get it up this high, which is to put ramps under the front wheels. Now that's enough room to do the job. It's just not going to be ideal for shooting the video and showing you things as clearly as I would like. But it's a really heavy tractor and I want to be safe. Alright, so as we come to step three, that's find the belt diagram, which in my case is underneath the tractor, under the footrest on the left-hand side of the tractor. And I am showing you that. You will have something similar on yours. But if your belt has broken, it's really good to have this diagram. If your belt hasn't completely broken off, you'll be able to take a photo of how it's routed, or at least a mental picture, right? But that can be a very handy thing to have, even if you have to lay on your back and look up to see it. All right, step number four is to remove the electric PTO. That's that guy right there. So we're going to undo that bolt at the bottom. We'll also unplug the connector, and hopefully this will come down off the engine crankshaft without too much trouble. If it's stiff or stuck, I may have to get out like a 3-jaw puller. Over here is where you disconnect the wires. So I've already done that right here. So that will be down there. All right, so I'm going to remove that bolt. We'll use this impact. And again, kind of tough to video since the tractor's still not up that high, but all right, so I was able to get the electric PTO down. Getting that bolt loose was a bit of a challenge. I couldn't, my little impact did not have the muscle. So I used this long ratchet, and this may be a bit unconventional, but up here I jammed a screwdriver in here to keep the flywheel from spinning, while with the ratchet, the long-handled ratchet, I was able to break that bolt loose. After that I put the impact on and pulled it right out. The PTO came down immediately without any trouble, as did the other pulley that's right above it. This is the pulley around which our ground drive belt runs. So that's that guy right there. So they both came off. Now the belt is completely free here. And so our next step is, I don't know, what are we up to? Step 4? To remove the belt from the different components around which it is run, the various pulleys, idlers, and the transaxle pulley up there. So let me pull that out. Takes 2 hands. You can see my broken belt right here. just hanging by a thread. All right, I've got a little dust in my throat. I'm going to take the belt down, get a flashlight so we can see under here a little better, and then we'll move to step 5. Okay, here's our belt, old belt alongside of the new belt. I don't remember the part number, but what you do need to know is for this model tractor, the belt size is 1/2 by 85. And really doesn't matter what brand you buy as long as that is the size. The 1/2 is the width of the belt and 85 is the total length. So now we'll go and install it on the tractor. I guess what I'll do first is open it up and just verify that they are the same size. And just make sure I did actually get the right part. So that's probably going to be just fine. Alright, so we're back here under the tractor and we're going to start at the back and work our way to the front. But right here in the middle is a belt guide right here, and I loosened it with a 9/16 ratchet because I need to feed one end of the belt over it. Then that goes back and it's going to wrap around, put it inside this belt guide, and then wrap it around this big main pulley. So I'm starting at the back with the big transmission pulley. And once again, my biggest struggle is holding the camera. So let me see if I can put it down. Just won't be able to see well what I'm doing. And if you can't see, I apologize. We're just doing the best we can. Okay, so we're around the big main pulley and the belt guide associated with that pulley here at the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to jump over to the other side. So there we're around our big main pulley, and now we've got these two idlers here next, and we're going to go above the top one, around, and then around the bottom on the other. Again, hope you can see what I'm doing. Above this one and around the bottom of this guy, like so. Okay. Now this is such an interesting setup because the pulley on the transmission is vertical and then it's horizontal when we get to the crankshaft, so the belt turns 90 degrees as it goes through the whole revolution. Alright, and now we're coming around this idler pulley here at the front. And by the way, this is a great time to check your pulleys, make sure they spin smoothly and silently. Replace any while you're at it. View from the bottom. Okay. So now, okay, so that guy goes around here. Oh, another great idea, which I did not do, is to take a clutch pedal and clutch it down and then lock the brake, parking brake. That will give us the most because that of course would make the belt loose, which is what we need for installing. So we're coming around this front idler, and then we come around the crankshaft pulley. That's all that's left. There's this one spot here where this belt is going to go through the loop right here, and that sort of holds it up in place. So the crank pulley's there, and that's it. So now we've got the belt in place, and we are going to put the idler back on. So I'll try and see if I can get the camera set up for you to see that. But step 6 would be now putting the crank pulley back in place and the electric PTO. Alright, so this is our crank pulley, and it's got a groove, a notch. It has to line up with the groove in the pulley, in the crankshaft. So let's put the belt around it, and then slide it up. Alright, now this came off my idler. So let me try to snap him back up there. Here we go. This should be on this side of the idler. Like so. Alright. So he's up there, and the pulley's staying up by the tightness of the belt right now. Alright. That guy out of the way. Alright, so the belt is in place. We can tighten up this bracket for the bracket up there, and we can put the PTO back up. Now please notice that this shaft comes down from above has to engage one of the notches on the PTO, which in this case is this guy right here. So this also has the notch, has to line up with the groove in the crankshaft, and then this hole here has to engage the so that will lock into place there. Alright, bolt goes back up in there. You know what I want to do before I take that all the way up is I want to put some anti-seize or maybe just some motor oil on those threads. So let me grab some of that before I screw it all the way up back in. Alright. I'm just going to put some heavy-duty lubricant on those threads. So hold it up in place. Take it down, spray some of that on it, and now we'll put it up. It's really just because if I ever have to come out and do this job again, replace the PTO, or whatever, it's nice to be able to get that bolt out of there without too much trouble. All right, and I feel the need for it to be snug, but not ridiculous. Feed the wire for the PTO up through that hole. We'll go up top, make that connection up there. And guess what? That's going to be it. Connect these right here. I'll have to put the camera down to be able to do that effectively. And we'll be able to fire it up and drive off into the sunset. All right. Okay, all right, well, that's it. We did it. It took, I don't know, an hour or so from setup to clean up, and we're back running again. It's October 2nd, and we got 92 degrees. Hey, if you want to know where Buckwsr comes from, I want to encourage you to look up the 1977 Christian comedy group Isaac Air Freight. And on their album called Fun in the Sun, they had a skit called Let's Stray Your Salvation, kind of a spoof on Let's Make a Deal. And that's where I got my YouTube moniker, Buckwsr. So check it out. Maybe I'll try to put a link up there so you can find it on your own. Well worth a listen. Thanks for joining me today, and look forward to seeing you on the next repair project. Leave your comments, questions. Really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.